Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Run, as today we're playing as Isaac. One of the best things that can happen to you is getting Continuum early on, and I really like the item, I like its effect, it's very unique and it does make things just a bit more colorful and playful. But what I really like it for is that it gives you Spectral Tears, and I think the Spectral Tears are one of the effects that are severely underrated by a lot of the players in the game. You might say it's not really worth maybe one Devil Deal or one heart to take the Ouija board, but I would say that in fact it's worth even 2 hearts in some cases. It does allow you to circumvent so many of the rooms which are so nasty to actually deal with, and especially in these cases with Afterbirth Plus, it added so many new room variations where not only do you have a lot of enemies you have to deal with, but you have a lot of enemies and very complex meshes of rocks that you have to navigate in order to get to them. So having Spectral Tears just signifies and just reduces that problem to basically non-existent, and you can just focus on actually damaging the enemies instead of having to traverse the rocks and kind of dodge in the right direction in order to get to them. So it's one of those items that I'm always excited to pick up, and thankfully this particular run did turn out to go in the very right direction at the start. I really thought that it was going to go super well and essentially that this is pretty much a one run, but I have made a few mistakes, a few miscalculations if you may. First of all, for some reason I thought this run goes to Mega Satan, so I thought there was going to be Harsh, and I kind of have to make a better effort to actually try and find those the shops and go to those instead of secret rooms, which is usually what I would prioritize if I actually realized that this was a run to Mom's Heart. With super secret rooms, of course, you can always get runes in them, and of course in this case we need AWAS runes in order to go deeper. But because I didn't realize that this run goes only to Mom's Heart, I might have used my bombs a bit too graciously or spaciously. I didn't really save them and use them at right opportunities. I was just trying to find the secret rooms, the second secret rooms, basically on every opportunity I had, even though I thought that there weren't a lot of chances in order to discover them. And for that reason, because I used 3 of them on the last floor, I didn't get anything out of it. I don't have any bombs for this floor, and not only am I unable to actually get to a lot of the places which I would wish to go, but I couldn't pick up the dead onion from the item room, I couldn't use the bomb on the stone chest in the challenge room, I couldn't use the bomb for both the secret and the second secret room. I had an idea of where the second secret room is, but with only 1 bomb remaining, I really thought it was gonna be better for me to just go for the secret room, because while you might think that there's like a very high % chance there is a second secret room there, it's not guaranteed, and for me I just thought it was gonna be better to go to the secret room and hope there were gonna be more bombs in there. If I realized that this was a run that goes only to Mom's Cart, I might have tried to go for that second secret room, but sadly I didn't, and from what I can tell, it didn't make that much of a difference because people have said they didn't find a way to go deeper, but you always have to consider those things to some extent whenever you're kind of playing around your objective. The second mistake of my run definitely came into play here, and for some reason I just kind of got sidetracked a bit. I was at 13th minute, and this should be my prime time to actually leave the floor and go on to the next one, and this was the 4th floor, remember, so leaving at 13 minutes isn't that bad, you're pretty much on par with time and pace. But for some reason what I was doing is decide to go around, I tried to play the reroll machine, try to get a really good item out of it, and for some reason I was stuck in this mindset, I don't want to leave this until I find my shop. And I was just kind of scouring around, trying to find my shop, trying to see where it is. And of course, if you were paying attention, or if I was paying attention, I would have known that I already visited the shop, but I had to fight greed in there because the shop didn't spawn. There was a greed fight. And for some reason, I didn't internalize that until after I started re-rolling the item machine, and as soon as it hit 15 minutes, I knew I was in trouble, because not only did I waste 2 or 3 extra minutes on trying to find a shop which I've already visited, but I also didn't have enough time to get to boss rush, and at this point, I think at around this point, I realized that this run goes to Mom's Heart and not to Harsh, not to the Mega Satan, and for that reason I thought, okay, this means that if I don't get to boss rush, I'm really gonna penalize myself severely, because on any round that doesn't go to Harsh, visiting boss rush is that much more important, because the overall scores or the average score will be much lower, which means that those 4,000 or 5,000 points that you get from beating boss rush are gonna mean much more significantly, because they represent a bigger portion of that end average score. And I tried to make a rush for it, I tried to actually get to Mom as fast as possible, I thought I was gonna make it. And if I just took 10 seconds less on any of the previous floors, I would have been able to make it, but sadly I missed it. And I have no one to blame but myself. This was definitely a very, very strong run, and I just misplayed it completely. Not only did I force myself to miss Harsh, boss rush in this case, and losing a lot of points because this only goes to Mom's Heart, I'm gonna lose a lot more ranks because of it. So you can imagine if this run did go to Harsh, if I still visited Harsh, maybe my end score would be 45,000 instead of 50,000. for example, and that's a much smaller discrepancy than me having something like 24,000 points and something as opposed to 29,000 points, or maybe 25 and 30,000 points. And not only did I try to make a rush for it, because I made a rush for it, I also didn't go to the shop on the 6th floor, which means that with restock and 2 of diamonds, I think I had something like 33 cents. It means I could have bought 4 items, and one of those items could have allowed me to break. And someone who actually didn't take those 2 minutes to explore the floor to try to find the shop, which didn't exist, or maybe they just played the game a bit faster, maybe could have had the chance to find that breaking item and still do boss rush, and for that reason I think I'm very, very severely behind in this case. Luckily I did get Guppy in the end, which did turn out to be quite helpful, because I don't think I got hit past the 6th floor at all, which is obviously still pretty great. But overall I think I misplayed this very well, and it was just one of those things that you have no control over. Sometimes you're gonna make a blunder in a run, and I think it's important to realize just what's about to happen. There's so many things and variables you have to take into account, or at least I try to take into account. It's very easy to get overwhelmed sometimes, and in this day, even though I was very well rested and I was kind of focused, I think my mind just wandered off a bit, and I started making some silly mistakes. And especially in a rush, when you try to make something happen very fast, you do happen to overlook some things. So we did finish the run. We finished in the 132nd place. Because I played this about 3 hours after the daily has aired, something like that, it means that this score will actually drop quite significantly. So in the end, I do expect to be in the top 300s, top 400s, but what's really funny, I'm in the top 100s now, if you maybe exclude the cheaters. If I did beat Boss Rush, and I did get those additional points, I think I would be ranked something like 6th, which is a pretty big tell. And you can say that even though I maybe didn't get to Boss Rush, I still feel like I played well, because if I did get to Boss Rush, which should have been very conceivable, and that's something that I should have done, I would still end up ranking pretty well. So at least I have my solace that I've played well, even if I necessarily didn't get a good score out of it, and at least I have that internalized into me. I don't think it's gonna affect my overall ranking that much, because at least I didn't lose and finish in like the top 2000. But it's one of those runs that I think we can learn a lot from, or at least we can learn that not every run can be perfect, and we shouldn't force it to be that way. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.